Hello, family members. Hope you're having a nice day today. This is going to be a little bit of a weird video for me because I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the video is as I'm talking to you now, which is not how I normally work. The way I normally create videos these days, these commentary videos that I've been creating, is I'll have an idea bouncing around in my brain, usually inspired by conversations that I've had or what's going on in the news or, media criticism, YouTube videos I've watched, things like that, and some thought will be sparked and it'll just bounce around in my brain, sometimes for weeks, and eventually I'll just have to talk it out. That's why I can sustain myself making videos the way I do, considering that, a good video is like 100 something views for me, like honestly, I know I'm not going to have that broad of a reach. And so in a lot of ways, I make these videos because I have to, because I need to, for a creative outlet, for an intellectual outlet, When I first started trying to do sort of more video essay style YouTube videos, I had a much more structured process. I'd have an idea, and then I'd actually just kind of go through it in my head, just script it in my head, and write an outline based on that script so that when I went to film, I wouldn't forget what it was that I wanted to talk about. With these commentary videos, a lot of times there's important things that I want to talk about in a video that I don't actually talk about, even though the topic is, reasonably well covered. One point or concept or in example just gets skipped over because I don't have the capacity to even do that level of structure and still be able to produce content. And I think that's something that a lot of people who don't create misunderstand about creativity. Really, I used to have this misunderstanding too, so there's no judgment I cast on anyone. The clearest example I can think of is a conversation I had, within like the last year with my ex-girlfriend, while we were still in a relationship. And she's like, "Oh, you can make videos for YouTube. That's so exciting. I have all these ideas. I can give you all these great ideas, and you're the one who can finish the product." And I'm like, well, marginally, obviously, because, this isn't the fanciest thing. But that's not a problem that creators have, is having that idea. Usually, people who create have way more ideas than they ever could reasonably execute. They don't need other people to provide them ideas. I think most people grow up having a fantasy that if they just had the right connections, they could just provide the perfect movie ideas or novel ideas or song ideas, whatever it is. And someone else could do the execution, but they've got that great idea. And the truth of the matter is, of course it's a great idea when it's in your head. The entire audience is you. You're serving a demographic of you. And so ideas that appeal to you are going to be universally appealing to the audience. But, outside of our own heads, other people look at things differently than we do, right? So the execution really is the creativity. It's not the idea. It's not the spark. the spark means nothing until it's made into something. So, what is the topic of this video? I guess it's creation itself, right? It's the way that we don't understand until we do, in a lot of ways. And creation is not just making art. Creation is creating thoughts and sharing them, right? And so you could say, look at the comment section on things. That's a form of creation even. You're taking somebody's work and commenting on it and adding to that creation, adding your own interpretation, adding your own contribution to the broader discussion, right? And it's interesting to me when you see that the kind of creation with the lowest barrier of entry, just how wildly variable the quality of what you see is. You know, there's always that question, you know, do you read the comment section or not? Sometimes it's a good idea, and sometimes it is not a good idea. You don't even go there. You know, what generates the reason why a person felt like they needed to insert themselves into this conversation or into this space? What are they trying to achieve? Who are they talking to? I think a lot of times people are talking to themselves, much the same way that I'm making many of my videos as a way for me to kind of talk through how I feel and express thoughts that I feel like I have to express. You know, I think that's similar for people who are commenting. They're not really trying to engage in a conversation. They're trying to gratify a conversation they're having with themselves. And that's why, you know, people always just say don't take the comment section personally, which is good advice generally. I mean, nobody, even if they are a longtime fan of your work and know everything that's available to know about you, really understands where you're coming from. And so there's always going to be this element of potential for misunderstanding or misinterpreting. Now, I don't know. I feel like it would be nice if we felt free to express ourselves and find value in that expression, even if it's not something that could be monetized or something that is going to speak to a lot of other people, you know? I have to be okay with when I make a video, it may only really speak to me. And is that okay with me? Is it still worth it? Yeah, I think so. You know, while it may not seem like I'm putting a lot of effort into making my channel, I have very little spoons. I really have such a hard time doing anything with any level of consistency. And so the fact that I'm able to make this a priority and execute it, it's committing a lot of that emotional resource, intellectual resource, physical resource that I have. And it's a very limited supply that I'm working with. And so it's extremely valuable to me, and it doesn't have to be valuable in any capacity other than that to anyone else or in any other way. It's gratifying when it's valuable to other people. You know, when I made my video on the queer platonic relationship, you know, it was nice to actually have people engage with that topic and let me know that it was a video that they found personally helpful to them. You know, good way to help discuss a topic that might be kind of hard to discuss with somebody outside of our community, you know? Or the video that I made about asexuality. It's an old video and doesn't have like, I'm sorry, there's a squirrel in the tree and I'm so ADD that I'm just like, squirrel. Sorry. But I made a video on asexuality a long time ago, and you know, it didn't have a great huge amount of views. I think it's like 60 views or something like that, which is in the grand scheme of my channel quite a success, but you know, in the grand scheme of the world, not so much. But I mean, to think about reaching, you know, dozens of people and helping them either find a way to articulate a label that they already were familiar with in a different way, or find a label they hadn't heard of before and either understand it better for the next time it comes up in their life, or realize that it applies to them, you know? When you're in sort of a small niche community, or you're a person who a micro label is the best descriptor for you, it can feel kind of lonely and isolating, you know? And even just having a small amount of connection and knowing that there's other people out there and being able to give them a hand up like somebody gave me a hand up in the past, you know? Like, that's extremely gratifying. So I guess the reason why I came into this video, not really knowing what the title would be from the beginning, is because it needed to be created. You and I together, imaginary or potential audience, we created this video about creation. And the conversation that I'm having with you, even if it's a very few people or no people that watch this, is a very valid, important conversation. It helps me. And why does it need to be any more than that? We live in a very efficient society. It's all about efficiency. It's all about cutting every little corner to save every fraction of a cent, because on an industrial scale that stacks up and it can make a lot of money for a very limited number of people, right? And I want to fight back against that. I don't think efficiency is really all that human, you know? Like, when I was in chiropractic college, there was a very popular technique that one of the professors taught that wasn't really in line with the philosophy of my school, which is Palmer Chiropractic, the one here in Florida. And like, what it was a move that for 80% of the people was going to work. You didn't have to do any real evaluation or futzing around. You just do this one thing, and 80% of the time, it's going to solve what the problem is. So it's very efficient, right? But what if you're not part of that 80%? It gets a lot harder for you to get help if what people learn about are the things that work for the 80%. And that's what modern healthcare is, you know. It's not just what you would see sometimes in chiropractic schools, in any sort of part of the medical profession. It's this shotgun approach, and you assume that you're going to get most of the people by doing this one procedure. But the problem is that the people that aren't going to be served by that model are drastically under-recognized. And when we are recognized, people often don't know what to do with us. It's never been really taught to, the system is not set up to treat people as individuals. It's set up to be efficient and equitable in a way, sort of a brutal equality, where everybody, one size fits all. You know, I grew up always being overweight from the time I was, late elementary school age. And so it was very frequent that one size fits all means one size does not fit you. I was excluded constantly from my, childhood days from society because I literally didn't fit in. And people were like, well, why should we have to structure our society around the people on the edges? And it's like, well, try being one of the people on the edges. Now that I get a lot of disability TikTok via Reels, but on Facebook, because that's how technology works these days. Social media is just one big amorphous blob. But I get a lot of disability TikToks. And I see the point made over and over again. Accessibility benefits everyone. Just because the majority of people don't need it doesn't mean that it wouldn't help them if it was available. A more inclusive society is better for everyone, not just us. And we've gotten so obsessed with efficiency that if you can't efficiently take something that you've created and turn it into something that can benefit you with clout or money or whatever, then what's the point? And I think that it's a sad way for society to exist. If they can't enjoy, if they can't accept things that aren't efficient, things that aren't monetizable, things that aren't saleable, how much are they missing, We live in a world that values conformity and devalues creativity. And it's not that people don't have ideas. Obviously, if you go to any comment section, you can see that they do. It's just they're not encouraged to use that creativity in a way that really results in a product, a finished product that they can be proud of. They're encouraged to be efficient. And that doesn't leave them the time and the energy and the wherewithal to channel their creativity into something that they'll look back at and be like, I can't believe I did that. That's awesome. And I'll be frank, I do go back and I watch my own videos. I hear a lot of YouTubers say they don't do that, but I do. And there are times when it makes me very proud to see what I've done. And I hope that every single one of you get to feel that feeling as frequently as possible. Because whatever it is that is important to you to create, you deserve a chance to create it, and you deserve a chance to be proud of it. That's right, Kimmy. Well, I think we stumbled into the point eventually here. I could probably keep yammering on at you, but you know, I hate to lecture it too long. My little nieces and nephews and nibblings out there. Kimmy, give Mama a kiss. Just be sweet and be good. She's gonna want her LUNCH, so. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself and to others. And create. Do it. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Whether that's a workout routine, a novel, interior design. Do it. Whatever it is that you've been wanting to do, but you're like, I don't know, that seems like a big thing. It's overwhelming. Just start. Starting is the hardest part, and finishing is the second hardest part. But once you get started, at least you're on your way, and then you can worry about finishing it. All right, take care of yourselves. Love ya. Bye.